So, Snowfall season 5 just dropped. I caught the first couple episodes. And that shit was fire. Fuck you thought I was gonna say it was trash, you're trash. We don't slander greatness around here. And I honestly feel like Snowfall is the greatest TV show of my generation. And if you don't, I don't give a fuck. Don't argue with me. Go argue with your mama. Cause I ain't gonna breastfeed you. Now, I don't know if I want to start with just a play-by-play of the show or if I want to, like, just fangirl through the whole review. Alright, I guess I'll give y'all some actual content. I'm thinking at the end I might just go through exactly how Snowfall did everything right that Bel Air did wrong, because I'm doubling down on everything I said in that video, like, still, to this day. But I might just be trolling. We'll see how I feel. But back to Snowfall. The snow is melting. Fire. You hear me? Fire. I don't know if I was just thirsty for more Snowfall or if that opening scene with the Lynn Bias jersey was just pure art. Like, if you know me, you know I love basketball. So I was already geeked when I saw them pull it out, but it was also such a subtle nuance to frame the time period of the setting, plus like the setter tone. Like, hey guys, remember, it's the mid 80s and we sell drugs. Like, they ain't do too much with it, but it was enough to get the point across. And I knew somebody was finna OD when I first saw the jersey and Coke on the table, but when Buddy OD'd, it still had the same effect it would have if I didn't. For those who don't know, Lynn Bias got drafted, first or second, I think second by the Celtics in 1985, but he OD'd before he ever got a chance to play. Like, it was one of the NBA, it's one of the NBA's biggest what ifs, like what would have happened if he got a chance to play out his career. And you can hear them on the TV talking about it in the background a couple times early on in the show, but yeah. The opening scene was lit. Shit left off heavy. It ain't lose no weight in the off season. Shit still heavy. You feel me? I'm gonna give you like a short recap of what happened leading to where we are now. So, Franklin Daddy started running his mouth too much to a reporter about everything going on with the CIA, which is asking to get knocked off. So Franklin sent him away to save his life, and his mom was like, she leaving with him, which I was ready for them to get rid of those characters. I felt like they had done everything that they could do with them. So that was cool with me. But anyway, said reporter had been looking for information on all the crack in the communities, and she was about to go public with the information from Franklin Dad. So Rhea had my dog Pedro to whack her like a real nigga supposed to. You feel me? Now here come Franklin lame ass daddy. This nigga been lame since Paid in Full. Hey, he ain't been the same since Cameron called him a Kermit the Frog looking motherfucker.
Who the fuck is this Kermit the Frog face ass nigga right here, B? Slap the shit out you, B.
I still laugh about that shit sometimes, like I ain't heard it before. That was really an S tier roast. But nah. Here come this lame ass nigga on the radio talking about, oh, the CIA assassinated her, which almost got him killed before Cuba. But when he got there, it ended on the cliffhanger, Reed coming to find him, having his gun in his hand. It ain't explicitly say that he murked him, but you know that nigga Reed nuts hang, so we could just assume, you feel me? He ain't go to Cuba for nothing. Jerome and Louis, they wanted to get out the game and just fuck up the record store. Everybody in the situation when Man Boy died, so Leon ain't have no more heat on him no more, but he was still trying to like do his own thing. And then he was talking about getting out of the game and all that shit, cause shit changed for him after Franklin got hurt. His security guard quit cause it was getting too violent in the streets. And he popped up on Melody just to, I guess show that he could. I don't know. But whatever. That's where we at now. So then we see Franklin, cool ass, flying a helicopter. And I wanted to make sure to say it just like that, because that was my first thought when I looked at it. Like, look at Franklin, cool ass. It just started with straight vibes. So he lands, you feel me, in the hangar. He get off the plane, he get on the phone, and you can see a whole ass office with employees looking like a legit business. The secretary talking about, oh, the boss is on the phone. And for the second time, I had the thought, look at Franklin, cool ass. They left a little hints when he was on the phone with the shorty that there was some consensual flirting going on, but they ain't do too much for the first quarter, you feel me? Like, you gotta get it wet a little bit. You can't just dive in like that. Which, I wanna just take a little second to rant real quick. Characters matter more to me in a program I'm watching than anything else. And it's not really close. And I feel like that should be the norm, but motherfuckers be talking about set pieces and angles, direction, and all that shit cool. But I don't care about none of that shit if I'm not invested in the main character. And kind of quick, like, too. Like, it took me some years to watch Breaking Bad. Cause when it was new, I watched 2 episodes and I decided I'm not following this dweeb around for a second more of my time. Now, I was clearly wrong on that one. But I'm just like that. Like, I need my characters to be dope and quickly too. Like, also, the way you develop the story, like the rise in action type shit, it matters a lot to me too. Like, nothing takes me out of the story faster than you trying to force feed it down my throat. Like, let things flesh themselves out a little bit, you feel me? And I get excited about little things. Okay, now back to Veronique, which that's the name of the shorty he was on the phone with that was in the office. A+. I love how it starts with her looking professional, being kind of sassy on the phone before it switch over to her talking to him about business with like flirtatious undertones. I love the fact that they spent the night together. And as an audience, we know that not from being spoon fed, but because Franklin woke up like he had fell asleep next to somebody. I love that they didn't show us her finding out she was pregnant. Like as an audience, we just found out in a casual conversation. Oh, she's pregnant, by the way. But as an audience, we just found out in a casual conversation. Like, they have great chemistry. I'm very pleased with the introduction of that character in that relationship. Like, they was really in tune with their star player when it came to that. I just hope they don't do no shiesty shit to each other. Like, I understand drama has to happen for there to be a story, but I just hope they're on the same side of their trials moving forward. Cause I'm gonna come clean. Franklin, my folks. But if it come to that, I'll probably be on her side. Like, fuck it. Be mad. I don't care. Franklin can't whoop me. But anyway, so after their initial phone conversation, Franklin goes to some pool party type vibe, but he all business as usual. And he go to talk to this white guy who we discover is his new supplier. And this is another case, in my opinion, of just a good character introduction. Like, he seemed like a cool enough person with enough, like, thought put into who he was subtly as a character for me to follow him. But, spoiler, he didn't make it through episode 2, so I won't be getting too attached. I thought I'd misread stoicism, but like it could have been a refreshing change. I feel like it matches a theme I'm picking up on this season, and I'm trying to show Franklin is more of an adult. So like to start off, when Franklin was young and green to the world, it made sense that his plug would be more of like a fatherly, teaching, overbearing type, whereas now his plug would socially treat him as more of a peer. But alas, we get to just keep my nigga Reed. I noticed the change in how they were framing Franklin through primarily his family life. Like when you got mommy and daddy everywhere, no matter how old you get, you feel me? You just get framed a certain way. And when that's taken away and you replace it with a baby mother and a child, like the perception of who you are at home is just vastly different. So I expect this season to see Franklin move more like a conventional adult for as possible as that is, you feel me? Adding to the list of stuff that I love about Snowfall, I love how when time passes, they just drop us in and let us pick up on what's the new norm through watching the story instead of some shit like narration. Bro, don't narrate to me. If I wanted to read an audiobook, I'd have done that. Or they try something like a text crawl, which those would 100% not be a thing if Star Wars had flopped because they're dumb. And if I wanted to read a physical book, I also would have just done that. Or even my personal favorite, and that's like having one of the characters walk up to another character like, hey, you've been gone for blank months. Here's everything you missed in a fucking flashback or some shit. Cause just don't you just love when a TV show tells you instead of showing you? Like I love that shit. But they really take their time to lay out a nice spread and give it to you bite by bite so you could digest it. You feel me? Like it's nice. It's nice. So next they move on to a cute hood nigga scene, if I ever seen one before. You got Jerome and Louis riding horses and flirting and shit, basically establishing that shit's still good with them. And I, for one, am relieved because I'm more invested in their relationship than I be with my own. They done went through so much shit from that first scene where she had the rawest of raw introductions to us as an audience. And to her being the reason Jerome got mixed up with the coke, to her being gay, wanting the club and all that shit, her asking for the code to the safe, just even her getting shot. Like their relationship wasn't always pretty, but it was real, you feel me? Like they reacted to things like actual human beings. And sometimes that means animosity, but it says something about a relationship when you could work through all that shit. Plus, I like how they both are these tough characters, but they take advantage of every opportunity they can to simp over each other. Like it's just refreshing. They really the new Will and Jada, but not like the new Will and Jada, but like the old Will and Jada when they were private, so we thought she liked them for real. But that's besides the point. So Leon's still walking around with that wallet, the one that say bad motherfucker on it. Like, Leon probably been the most consistent character in the whole show. And he popped out in this new season back on his bullshit. One of the little niggas in his crew stole some shoes from him. So he took the shoes off and he broke dude's foot. Then he said the nigga could keep the shoes cause he paid for them. That's so gangster. But it's also like compassionate cause he could have just killed Buddy and kept his J's. But we ain't get into no real Leon heavy storyline yet, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But my guess is he might have to go out and find his own plug and start like building himself up to where he's like competition with Franklin. I don't think that it'll turn into beef, but I just think that that's going to be a dynamic that they reach eventually. But I don't know. It could be anything with him. Like, Wanda's back clean. He really has his story could go anywhere from here. But white on white crime is what really got the storyline popping this episode, and I'm here for it. So boom, is this party. White people, wall to wall, like how they like it. And white boy Rob is there with his homie who, I don't know the nigga's name. I could probably look it up right now. I don't fucking feel like it. But Rob homie, he there with his homie, a couple bitches. The nigga seemed like he was a dickhead already, but he ain't really seemed like he was finna tweak out quite in the way that he did. So now he chopping it up with some hoes, and this miscellaneous Caucasian male pulls up, does a line of coke, and start macking the bitches. You feel me? Chill vibes. It was a party. So white boy Rob homie didn't like that though. So they get into this little back and forth while Buddy was still trying to be chill, but he was trying to be slick at the same time and look good for the women, while Rob homie was getting himself all amped up and shit like that. Now Rob cooled it off, and Buddy turned to Shorty like, is he always such a fucking asshole? And it was up from there. It was up. Like, now, I will say I'm torn. Am I the type of nigga to oppose on a nigga off of a verbal back and forth? Nah, probably not. However, if I was that type of nigga, then that particular back and forth might have just got it done. Like, Buddy really deserved the ass whooping, but like sometimes deserving an ass whooping get you shot. I don't know what to tell you. It was funny though, cause Buddy pulled a fight. Cuz gonna say, I'm sorry, I didn't know. You ain't know what, motherfucker? That was literally the next thought in my head. But then white boy Rob homie was like, you ain't know what? So now we both waiting for an answer. But before bro could say anything, he's like, you didn't know who you were fucking with. And that's just great writing. That is just great, phenomenal. Like, so Rob tried to cool him down again by giving him a hug, cause like, you know, they do that. And Buddy put his pistol down. Now, I for one was not fooled by him putting the gun down. And I just met lil bro not too long ago. Like, it was my first time chilling with him for real, and I could have told you he's still gonna shoot this nigga. So I feel like if that's your people for real, you should have known you probably gotta take the gun. But alas, it was 2 to the chest. He forgot to put 1 in his head to be safe, but he still got the job done. So now Franklin got to come play Mr. Fix-It. So he pull up on Rob, and you could tell he wasn't happy. I think it's time for your guest to leave. I do a horrible Franklin impression, but in Franklin voice, you could tell that he was a little perturbed. You feel me? Like, he could already see that Rob is basically a junkie now. He on the powder and on the rock. So he take him back to Franklin Mama old crib where Wanda's staying at. Now, I personally was really looking forward to the two of them developing a relationship. Like, from her having to help him purge the drugs and everything, her being through it before in the past. Like, in my head, I had the dialogue planned out and everything. I'm planning 4 episodes centered around them on some Brian and Stewie type shit, but it's not what happened. Franklin catches Rob trying to sneak out of the crib or whatever, next morning. He's sitting there with some coffee or whatever. And, Rob tells Franklin that he found out where Buddy who shot dude was at, and they both know what needs to happen next. Like, they gotta tie up the loose ends. If you don't, you might end up getting tripped up. But like, you could see this is where Franklin is starting to get like frustrated with Rob. He said he was gonna send that nigga to rehab and then slap the fuck out. He slapped the fuck out of this nigga, but not like you a bitch slap, but like the way that like your mama slap you when she really cares about you. She's disappointed in your actions. So now they driving to Buddy, Franklin robbing beaches, and Rob is tweaking. Now, I think now that he was just nervous, but at the time watching it, I had no idea what type of nut shit he was on. So I was a little tense. So they get the buddy, and as to be expected, they playing all cool with him and shit like that, acting like, you feel me, everything cool. And while they having this little, you feel me, chopping it up, he mentions that Franklin has CIA ties, which Franklin specifically asked Rob if he told him about, and Rob said no. Again, I wasn't fooled by that, but I wasn't there, so whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. As soon as he say this shit though, Rob upped the strap on bro, and bro went to pleading for his life. And this is another small thing that I loved. When Rob shot the gun, he missed the first shot. And I swear it be small details like that having the biggest effect on me. Mostly because that's probably what will really happen in that situation. But regardless, he finishes the job. Now they gotta go bury the body. And like, right before they start digging, you feel me? Rob had been looking for Haley's Comet or whatever. He stops and takes a break to take a hit of crack. You feel me? Oh, I guess cause this is his last day or whatever. And in that moment, Franklin's like, oh, I think that's the comet over there to the south. You feel me? The other way. So Rob turns around. I think I want to say that he found it before Franklin shot him in the head. I'm not sure, but Franklin did shoot him in the head though. I shouldn't be laughing at this because it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. But like, it's still, he's still pointing that nigga in the other direction and dove shot at him, which is just, it made me chuckle a little bit. It wasn't a serious moment. I mean, it wasn't a funny moment on the screen when it happened. Like, it was a very serious moment, but I personally understand why he did it. And I only find the need to say that because for some reason it was verbalized later. Like, he had a flashback of his baby mother saying, do anything to protect our child. Then he erased the liability. But for some reason they had to spell it out when he was talking to Leon later. Which, I mean, I understand he wasn't watching the show with us when it happened, so he wouldn't have known, you feel me, that it was already explained. But it was just weird. But that's not really a criticism. I'm really just nitpicking. I do that from time to time. Now, while that whole thing with white boy Rob is going on out of town, back in town they're introducing a new police officer. Now, I'm typically anti-police in all my mediums of entertainment, unless they're dirty, then it's a toss-up. And this nigga, I was prepared to hate this nigga. Like, they introduced him arresting a family for no reason, being rude to the mama and shit like that. But his next scene was with Louie, and apparently he's giving her information from inside the police station. And it seems like he got some demons he fighting and some kind of past with Louis, while he's still cordial enough with Jerome. So like the jury's out on how I feel about him, but I don't know. I'm not really leaning in one way or another. He seems interesting enough though. Like he talking about Louis got to give up somebody though to his bosses, and I don't like that, but still we're gonna see what's up with him. But that's pretty much all the episode 1 though, right? White boy shoots white boy. Other white boy shoots white boy A. Franklin shoots other white boy. Oh yeah, Wanda got a job as a phone sex operator. I didn't know where to fit that in at, but yeah, that happened. But yeah, what's my episode 1 takeaway? Snowfall is back. I don't sense any fall off. The storylines look like they have some pretty good seeds planted, you feel me? It still feels authentic, not like they just started feeling themselves too much, cause that's when niggas just put out anything at that point. Speaking of just putting out anything, I decided I'm not gonna go on my rant about why Snowfall is better than Bel Air. Not cause it's not true, but for the same reason I don't go around explaining why Michael Jordan is better than Mario Chalmers. Plus, I could probably make that into its own video, because service level, they're pretty similar in quality. And like, the more and more I thought about it, the more and more like it really dawned on me. They're very similar in quality, but it's the nuanced stuff why Snowfall is the best show I've seen in my whole adult life. Wow. I referred to Bel Air as a perversion of intellectual property. But go watch that video. I stand by everything I said. I see niggas in the comment section talking about I'm just hating and shit. I don't care. Like, they didn't see me in the video say I will go to court and put my hand on the Bible about everything I said. Like, that shit was not good. But yeah, so I was gonna just do episode 1 and 2 reviews together, but this shit getting kind of long already, so I'm gonna just do episode 2 separate. Subscribe so you feel me, you'll catch when I drop it. You feel me? Go look at my other shit too. But until next time, be easy. I fuck with y'all.
The microphone is my mistress, I air it out, I'm just venting. Fix your mouth like a dentist and you get stopped like a sentence. These niggas pouting and bitching, I'm just counting my Benjamins. Ain't announcing my mission, I just come out with a victory.